Check. All right, we're rolling. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the new episode of the podcast. It's been so long since I made one of these. I'm coming back strong with my boy Jake. Appreciate you coming on.
Yes, sir.
Bro.
Yes, sir. Pleasure to be here.
So we have a little bit of a structure to this one. You know, normally we just get in and talk about whatever. So we wrote down a few subjects. Jake wrote down 3, and I wrote down 3. So whenever we feel necessary, we're just going to draw a topic. So I'm mixing them up right now. We'll see where we're going to start. Put them in the hat. You draw. You do the honors.
Yes, my wild card. All right. So the first thing we're going to talk about, the chase of women.
The chase
of women.
All right, that's a good place to start.
All right.
So when you say the chase of women, what does that mean to you?
To me, honestly, as a man, that's what life revolves around.
We are getting a little loud, so
all right,
back away from the microphone a little bit so you can see up here, right?
Yeah, that's how loud
it
is.
When it hits the top, it's too loud.
Okay, heard that.
So if you just see it getting loud,
Okay, heard that.
We should be good.
All right.
Continue.
Okay. So my first postulate is that with the chase of women, we want what we can't have. And I never fully thought this is like, hey, this is a real thing until recently. Cause people, a lot of dating these days and stuff like that. It's a game, like people like that. And I never really thought that I myself really enjoyed that until today, honestly.
Till today. What? Oh no.
Oh no.
Apologize for the distractions. This is the first podcast I've done in this room, so I'm still figuring out the layout. That's a good point. It definitely took me a while to figure that one out too. That sometimes if it's just the fact that you can't have it, that you're kind of like, I kind of want that.
Yeah, and you want it, but sometimes if it's too easy, you don't want it.
I don't know. See, sometimes I fall into the opposite trap of where it's like, oh, this is easy. I'm just gonna take what I can get.
Right.
Sometimes it's the other way around.
Sometimes you go there, and then other times you're like, yes, I want it, and it's on that chase.
Okay, so what today specifically made you realize that?
Well, I was talking to a girl, and I could have had her, and I was like, you know what? No. Yeah.
For what reason?
Well, I wasn't attracted to her.
Okay, but you were just doing it because you thought you couldn't have it? Is that what you're getting at?
No, I realized that maybe in hindsight, I do want the chase, and I feel like
So this one was too easy.
Almost, but
I want to sit back, but the mic won't reach.
Okay, so why do I slide in the DMs?
Why do you slide in the DMs, Jake?
Because it's the chase. It's like that little rush when you send that message. You're like, yo, I'm shooting my shot.
You're right.
And and the fun part is you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And I don't know. I feel like taking that shot makes you feel alive. You know when you see a really, really pretty girl and you got to decide okay, am I going to sack up and am I going to go talk to her, dude? Sometimes I do that. My heart is pounding through my chest because you just need 5 seconds of courage, you know, and you're ready to risk it all. It doesn't matter what's going to happen. But that 5 seconds of courage, bro, it's almost like an adrenaline high.
Right. And if you can get used to doing that, the adrenaline will go down and you'll be able to be more calm when you do it. But the first few times, bro, it's crazy. You have this it almost feels surreal. And that applies to anything in life that you do for the first time that's potentially hazardous or risky. How your mind interprets it, at least, is even though it's not a physical danger, it's
but you just
potential
you gotta
social danger.
Take that risk.
But you have to just take it and say, you know what? I'm just gonna see what happens.
It's you going out on that limb and you don't know if it's gonna hold you, but you're it's shaking. You're I'm out here.
Yeah.
like I think like that goes in hand in hand with like being uncomfortable in life, you know, because like
Right.
it's so easy to just like go out there and you see a pretty girl and you're like, I'd like to
Yeah,
talk to
not
her,
today.
but not today.
Yeah.
But then like when you do, you're like, hey,
Yeah, yeah, and you start to develop that confidence because you realize like, oh, this is something that I can actually like physically go do.
yeah.
Facts, facts.
I don't know, like you know, like the caveman finding a wife.
Mm.
I feel like it speaks to me on the
Okay, so
innermost
you
of my
relate with a
being.
caveman.
Yes,
Okay,
because like
understood. That's a good.
you
That's
know,
a
because
good
that's what
person to
men.
relate with.
That's what men do. Men chase women.
Right.
Like you know, like there's always the postulate that like a man would talk to a tree if it made the first move. Because we're always like, man, like I wish a really pretty girl would come up and talk to me, but like that doesn't happen that often.
Right.
You know, like you're at a bar and you see a really pretty girl and you're just like, oh, I wish you'd come up to talk to me. But no, you have to go do it.
You have to go
Yeah,
do it.
yeah.
'Cause, I mean, trees aren't out here talking, so you have to go make the
Yeah.
first move.
Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah.
So you slide in the DMs.
So like this is just
Then
a
what's
base
the,
example.
What's the next step in this process?
Okay, so you slide in the DMs. This is how to slide in the DMs for those who are wondering. So what you do
101.
101.
I'm ready for the full
Okay,
rundown.
so
Jake.
this is what I do.
You got yourself into this.
Yes, I did get myself into it, and I'm going to get myself out of it, or I'm just going to keep digging a
Deeper hole.
deeper hole, but that's okay.
All right.
So what you do is you compliment them first. You say, I always say like, hey, you're really cute. And then I cut straight to the chase.
Listen, I'm gonna be honest. I'm not sure that's the best strategy. Now listen,
Okay.
I am not a man with much experience sliding in the DMs, right? I don't do a lot of first move making. However, I don't think that's the best way to start.
Okay.
I'm no expert.
Right. Well,
But-
Corey, what's your go-to strategy?
Go-to strategy, like I said, I don't even really be going out here
Wait,
making
have you
the
ever
first moves.
have you slid in the DMs?
I was in the DMs. I must have like once or twice. I don't think I ever
Dude,
got a
I-
response or anything though, because this was back in like middle school. I haven't even bothered since
Really?
probably maybe up into like sophomore year of high school was the last
Seriously?
time I did anything like that. Yeah, bro. I don't make any kind of moves. Like I'm chilling.
Corey!
I don't know how you find all the energy to do this. Like make this part of your life.
It's yeah.
Like, I don't know. Maybe if
Well,
I just decided to delegate energy to that, I could and would have results.
You
but I
you
just
probably
don't
have your
really
priorities
try.
straight versus
Yeah,
me.
yeah, I just focus on my stuff, like whatever I got going on. Because
It's not a
what
bad
I
thing.
found is like, and this is from a little bit of experience in myself, and also seeing this around me is like, if you focus on yourself and just get your stuff done, like, bro, if you get to the point you're trying to get to, then if that's a good if as long as that's a good place to be, as long as your goals are right and you get to a good place, like you won't have to worry about like going out
Yeah.
and finding a girl because you'll be valuable. You'll have so much to offer in a relationship. The girls are going to be lining up for you. Whereas if you're going and you're trying to shoot your shot at every girl, like bro, you don't know what they have to offer.
Right.
And then you may get in a situation and be like, oh no, which is why you just have to not move too fast with it.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely just take your time,
Oh, yeah.
be patient. But I don't know. For me, it's just I feel weird like just talking to all these girls with the intention of trying to date or something because it's like, bro, like I don't know that much about you. It takes a while to get to know
Right.
someone, so you can. I don't know. It's just hard for me to put that much energy in when I don't even know what I'm going to get out
The
of
way
it.
that I see it is, say you're a fisherman on a boat,
Okay.
and like, okay, either A, we can go with the rod with a bait analogy and go, whoosh, and you see if anything
Okay.
bites,
Okay.
or with the DMs, as I look at, you're casting a net,
A net.
and you're seeing what you catch. You know, because you don't know what you're going to catch, but you're going to see.
Talk about fishing, right?
Yes.
If I'm gonna be honest, I think this connects perfectly to my favorite type of fishing, which may seem kind of dumb to some people who
Deep
haven't done
sea
it.
fishing, right?
Trolling specifically.
What is that?
Okay, so deep sea fishing is like, okay, you just go out into the where the water is deep.
Right.
You know you can cast out for,
Deep
like,
sea
mackerel
fishing.
or something like that. You can drop the line straight down for like snapper or something. Trolling is where you get a big piece of bait and you cast it, right? And listen, this is important. This is such a good analogy. I don't know how this worked out so well. So you're in the boat, right?
Right.
With trolling, the big piece of bait is trailing behind you. And the boat the boat moves, right? You just keep driving. When you're trolling, nothing small is going to come up and bite that. Like
Right.
when you're and I haven't, like, I'm not an expert fisherman or anything like that. Like I've only gone trolling like maybe twice. So it's like maybe smaller fish do bite sometimes, but in general, when you're trolling, you're going for the king mackerel, you're going for the cobia, a big Spanish mackerel, right? That's good eats right there. That's good eats. So when you're trolling, you're not stationary, you're moving, right? It's just like life. In life, you keep moving. And if you got a big piece of bait trailing, a big fish is going to come bite at some point. Ooh. But if you sit there and you just stay in one place and you just cast it and you just cast and take whatever comes at you, bro, you may get a little pinfish. But it's like, bro, I'm trying to get a mackerel, a cobia. You see what I'm saying? But also at the same time, right? There's a strategy to this. If you've never gone fishing before and you immediately try to go trolling, bro, that fish is going to bite and you're going to be fighting. You're going to be fighting. So maybe you want to practice on some smaller fish here and there, so you actually know how to fish.
Right.
So then when you go trolling, you can catch the big one. So now if we're trying to relate this to women, I guess if you really dissect what I'm saying is, it's cool to like talk to girls, right? Practice. Right? You're just figuring yourself out. Oh, it's cool. Okay. It's like you're figuring yourself out. You're figuring out what you like. You you practice here and there. But then it's like when you're really trying to like date someone, like when you say you're trying to get in a like relationship.
Do we need to be worried that it said no signal?
No, it's cool.
Okay,
the monitor's just shut off.
Okay.
So
sorry.
You're out there. At that point, then you go trolling. But if you never leave the dock, you catch small fish all day. But if you're willing to, at a certain point, get that confidence, be like, you know what? I'm gonna get on my boat and I'm gonna drive. I hope that made sense to people. People listening and be like, yo, why is this dude talking about fishing and girls? But I think it's a pretty decent analogy.
I think it's a beautiful analogy.
Wonderful.
I think yours was way more beautiful than mine.
We landed in a good place. So what's the next step in this chasing women process? Or is that it? You just compliment them and then hope it goes well?
Well, yeah, you compliment them and hope it goes well. Or in some cases, if they don't respond to that, there's this one girl that I DM'd, and she would always respond to stuff that I talk about, like with music and stuff like that. We'd have actual conversations, but
oh no.
But that was it. It would only be dialogue. It would never lead to anything. But it was like, oh, I can't have it. So I wanted even more. Okay. I don't know.
But you were saying the next step in the process?
Oh, but the next step in the process. You ask for the number of the Snapchat.
So she doesn't respond, and then you immediately go for the snap?
No. I just put it in one message. Cut straight to the chase. I say, hey, you're really cute. Can I get your number or snap?
Okay.
Yeah.
You find that strategy effective?
Yes. Sometimes it works, and then other times,
not bad.
Yeah. It's like 35, 40. I wouldn't say 50-50. Sometimes it's 50-50, but I say like 40-60. Okay. Solid.
That's not a bad ratio.
Yeah. But if you DM like 3 girls, 40, like 80 over 120, I think.
You have 120% chance
of
getting a yes?
Okay, so like say you have 40 to 60, that's your ratio. And then it's been a while since I multiplied fractions, but like multiplying that by 3, wouldn't you multiply it by 3 over 3?
By 3 over 3?
Yeah.
Multiply by 1?
Huh? No. Wait, I don't know. I'm bad at math.
Sorry, hold on. It's been a while since I did this as well.
I know, dude. When was the last time you multiplied fractions?
You graduated college, and I'm in college, and we're sitting here like, oh.
Dude, it's not like any of us ever multiply
60,
any
so
fractions.
That's going to be 60.
Or am I just grossly overthinking it? Because that was what I was trying to do, is the 40-60 multiplied by 3.
I just did this in one of my classes recently, and I still can't figure out how we would do this. I don't know. You have a pretty good chance.
It's a decent chance. Yeah. But my advice is you DM during the day.
Okay.
Like broad daylight. Broad daylight. Not like the sketch hours of like, I'd say like anything past 7 p.m. sketch.
Sketch. No, why is it sketch?
Because, okay, the saying it goes down in the DMs. It do. But like during the day, it doesn't make it seem like, you know, like it's different intentions. Because, you know, like if you DM a chick at like 11 p.m., that's booty call hours.
Right.
So you must message outside the booty call hours.
See, that's fair. That's fair. Now, extending booty call hours to 7, I think, might be a bit much. But
just evening when the sun goes down.
Okay.
Sun goes down is booty call hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair. Mm-hmm. That's fair.
Yeah.
So now you've gotten to the point where
I have a set
you get
strategy.
the snap or the number, but this is only, you want to talk about the chase of women. This is only half of the story.
Yeah.
Okay, you get the snap or the number. That's when the game actually starts.
See, here's the thing. Like, that is only where the game starts. Like, I don't know. For some, like, sometimes you can take like people out on dates or drinks or stuff like that, and then other times you can't. Like, just it's too straightforward. You know, like you have to build a rapport with them. Yeah. So you got to build a little bit of a relationship. Like you have to talk to them for a little bit first. Yeah. So.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So you talk to them a little bit first.
You talk to them a little bit first. Get to know them. See, because like the way that I look at it and like, honestly, dude, like dating and like attraction, it all boils down. It's almost like business. Like, okay. Like when you're dating, you're literally just selling yourself. Like you're making a presentation of yourself and you're presenting it to the other person. And if you can sell them on the idea of you, boom.
But I think if you are that.
Yeah. Well, you
don't have to put effort into selling who you are if you just live that.
Yes, but that's not always the case. Right. But like I completely agree with you. Like it's not just selling the idea of you, it's selling what you live and what you are.
Right. Like if you just have all of your stuff figured out,
like all your ducks in a row.
Right. If all your ducks are in a row, you don't have to go show people you have your ducks in a row. It's going to be evident when they see you, right?
Yes.
So if you're talking to a girl and you feel like you have to put forth some kind of effort to show that you're this or you're that, all that's showing is that you aren't actually that to yourself. Maybe she doesn't see that, but you're showing yourself that you aren't that. You have to become that.
Yeah. But also like, okay, so at the same time, like how are they supposed to know that, like with the trolling analogy, how is the fish in the ocean supposed to like find the big piece of bait to be caught if you're not out there looking for it and like having the bait behind, but like the boat has to move.
I'm not following.
Okay, so you know how you said with like trolling how it's effective is that like you're just trailing behind the bait is trailing behind the boat and the boat is moving. Of course. I'm saying that like you getting your ducks in the row and like having your stuff together, that's I'd say like that's 50% of it. And then the other 50% is like the bait in the water. You know, cuz bait because like the bait can just sit in the freezer, but with the boat it's moving. Boat noises.
Okay, so the bait's trailing behind. Now see, when I originally said this,
to trail the
I'm imagining where your ducks being in a row just naturally leaves a trail of bait. Like it kind of leaves that. But it's also, you got to think, if you have all your ducks in a row, like if you think about what that actually means, right? If your ducks are actually in a row, then you're not having, like, the bait is part of the boat. Just clip that right there. The bait is part of the boat. But if your ducks are actually in a row, then if you prioritize, or if it's something to you that's of value, let's say getting a mate, to put it in simple terms. Right. Yes. Getting a mate is of value to you. Then if all your ducks are in a row, then you just know how to attract mates. Like, it'll be natural for you because you already have your ducks in a row, so you have your stuff figured out. But you're also not, like, awkward. So what I'm kind of getting at is, like, you could have all of your ducks in a row. Right. Let's say your finances are straight. Right. You're in shape, all of this stuff, but then you don't have good social skills. Well, then it's going to be hard for you to date. Right. So I guess when I'm saying the bait is part of the boat, it's that social skills ought to be one of your priorities, then you
Right.
can't consider yourself having your ducks in a row if your social skills aren't on
Oh no,
point as
I
well.
completely agree with that.
But it's
Yeah.
not about faking it. You see, that's a
Right.
fine line to walk between faking it with social skills, where you just say things that you think people like, and then actually like projecting yourself into the world in a manner that it's undeniable. People can see that that's authentically you, but it's also like you actually know how to convey your thoughts and be elegant with it without just being like awkward and just like
Right.
a like talking to a wall. Like a wall is authentic. A wall's not going to lie to you, but it's also not very entertaining either. So you still have to be fun, but you don't have to cap.
Yes, I completely agree with that. And I'm saying like with all of those things, you can use that to your advantage when you're going out and looking for what you want.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. As long as you're using them wisely and you're not sacrificing your, I don't know if integrity is the right word, but like just yourself, and
Right,
not letting
right.
yourself get so caught up, because I see this sometimes. People get caught up in the image of themselves that they portray to the world, but then themselves deep within is all messed up.
Right.
And they think that if they can convince everyone that everything's okay, that means everything's okay. But obviously that's not the case.
Oh,
It's
100%.
just a shell.
Right.
So you have to make sure that,
That it isn't a show.
right,
Yeah.
you have to make sure it's not a shell. And whatever you're conveying into the world is genuinely how you are. Because the thing is, what you'll realize is that when you become vulnerable and you're willing to admit where you're wrong, not even necessarily where you're wrong, admit
That you are vulnerable.
your shortcomings, admit that you're vulnerable, admit that there are things that you are not as good at as you would like to, but you will get there. You'll find that people connect with you, and the types of people you'll connect with are going to be genuine people who
Right.
actually enjoy that type of stuff. Whereas if you're a capper, like other cappers are probably going to like hanging out with you
Right.
because they relate to that.
Dude, I think honestly, like vulnerability and like being able to talk about your feelings and everything like that, it's to me that's like what is so attractive, and like I see that as a strength. I know like a lot of people,
Huge strength.
I know, but like so many people look as like feelings and like vulnerability as a weakness,
Right.
and just I hate that stigma so much because like I live my life and like I embrace all of that. I don't hide anything. Like
Right.
I don't hide how I feel.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always real with how I feel,
Right.
and I just
And it's the thing is that can be a difficult skill to learn if you get in the habit of being out of touch with your feelings. It's a long and hard road, or it can be, to get back in touch with your feelings. But it's like the best journey you can ever go on is to get back into that state of, because it's like, bro, when
to
you're
know
a
thyself.
kid, you don't care. A kid will have a temper tantrum in front of you. A kid will be like, no, 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 and start hitting stuff. Like the kid does not care. He shows how he feels. Is he mature? No, of course not. But maturity doesn't mean you're having an internal temper tantrum and you just decide not to project it. Maturity is where the temper tantrum stops.
Right.
You don't have to hide it. That's where you got to get to.
No, I completely agree with that.
And it's difficult. It's an extremely hard road to go down. But once you're there, it's like, bro, you can just live life genuinely, like actually interact with people instead of having this like unconscious. It's like I would say it's semi-conscious, because you usually know when you're putting up a facade. Usually, not all the time.
Yeah.
You usually know. But you can get rid of that, and it's like a weight lifted off of you, where you're not worried about what people are thinking. It's like, oh yeah, like there's this issue I have. Like, yeah, no, it's cool. Like, I'll tell you about it. I don't care. Like, I'm not gonna try to sit here and act like it's not there.
I'm trying to remember when the last time I had like an actual temper tantrum was. I know, right?
I don't remember.
I don't.
There's been times playing video games where I'll get like bro, you know, like
Rage
you're playing
quit.
video games and you're about to get the crazy play, and then you just miss all your shots or something, or like someone just kills you. You're like, no, and you just like slam the controller down. Like,
Yeah, I'd
definitely
say
that's
I'd
happened.
say that's definitely I'd say that's equivalent.
And it's like, bro, as mature as I feel like I am,
Sometimes-
still I'm playing video games, and I don't play video games that often. Also, that's another thing that I'll say, that it's like that is such a, and I know I've like me and you have talked about this recently. It's like the video games are so addictive. It's insane. It's like the most addictive drug out there. Like you
Dude,
just
like
immediately
talk about like
just wanna
video
keep
game
playing.
sweats.
It's
Like
crazy.
when it's like you versus the last person for the
Right.
win, and you're like shaking.
It's like, bro, the amount of stimulation you get from a video game, just that's hardly matched in real life ever, because there's just so much happening. But sometimes, to get deep with it for a second, sometimes I think that if video games are that stimulating, and this is just me looking at myself and then saying that maybe other people relate to this, where if I find video games so stimulating, maybe I'm not living my life to
To
the
the
extent that I
fullest,
need to be
yeah.
living it. Because if something on the computer can be so stimulating and get me so hooked, like, bro, there's like life should be able to be like that. You're just not living it chaotically enough. Like video games, it's fun because it's so chaotic. Like it's so fast paced. Stuff's flying around. You're going over here. You're going over
Mm-hmm.
there. You're taking shots left and right.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, bro, what if you could live life like that, where you're constantly going, you're constantly taking shots, you're constantly doing things. Like it's difficult because to get to that point, there usually will be required a period of just intense dedication and boredom. Like for example, right now when I'm sitting in here and I'm just making beats all the time or cooking up these videos, it's like, bro, it's just me sitting in my room in front of a computer. And that's
Right.
a very big majority of my, or very,
Right.
I wouldn't say majority, a very big chunk of my life spent just sitting here. It's like, bro, I'm not trying to be living like that. I'm trying to go out and do stuff.
Right.
But it, I have faith that it will all pay off. By doing all this, I'm establishing like a future for myself by just committing the time. Like with the beats, for example,
So that one
once
day
I
you may have those feelings in
right,
actual
and I
life.
get to the point where I'm able to just make a bunch of money making beats and be an artist and go travel over here
Mm-hmm.
and travel over there. But
Mm-hmm.
to get there, you have to actually dedicate yourself to something that will enable you to get to that point.
What made you like when you make beats?
Mm-hmm.
What does that creative process look like? Like what when you sit down, like do you just think like, okay, what is this gonna sound good? Or like what is the creative mind behind the
That's a very
beats?
good question.
I want to hear about your creative
it's
process because
it's
I've
a
never
little
really.
it's a little bit different each time. Like sometimes I sit down, I'm just like, okay, I just feel like making a beat right now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any idea of where it's gonna go or anything, and I just get on with the program and start playing around with different sounds on the keyboard, or I'll listen to different samples, and just when something catches my ear, like a certain sound, maybe it's like a certain setting on the MIDI
Mm-hmm.
keyboard that I go like da 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 da, and be like, yo, that was hard. Or maybe I
Mm-hmm.
hear a sample.
Okay.
It's like, and it's just like, ooh, I can make something out of this. I just put it in and then just start working. Like the actual creative process, and I was thinking about this earlier today actually, is it's just very chaotic. It's just a process of sitting down and listening to it, and it's like this indescribable thing where it's like
Such
say I
joy,
have I
right?
have a sample. Say I have a sample. I listen to it, and as I'm listening to it, I'm just imagining what it could be. Like the whole creative process is just imagining what something could be. So I'm sitting there hearing the sample, and then maybe over the sample, I'm like, then it's like, okay, I programmed those sounds, and then I'm listening some more. It's like, okay, it needs a ding ding, ding ding, and just put that. And it's like after doing that for like an hour and a half, you have a song of just sitting there saying, okay, this would sound good, this would sound good, and then you listen back to it. And sometimes I'll just listen back to the whole thing and be like, oh, I need to scratch this whole kick drum pattern. The kick drum
Mm-hmm.
ruins it, and just immediately go into it. It's just a process of like just I guess the muse would be the best way to call it. Like the idea of the muse as like the creative energy, just not to put it in some kind of like woo term,
No,
but
but
it's like
that
this
is it.
the
It's literally
creative
you
energy.
harnessing your inner muse.
You're just surrendering to the muse and just letting your brain tell you this would sound good. This would sound good. Try this. No, never mind. That was a bad idea. Take that out. You're just surrendering to that. It's not like a logical process. And in terms of like the type
Ooh.
of beat, sometimes I get in and I'm like, I want to make something really hard right now. And then I go in with a direction of, okay, I need a really like a sample that's going to really hit, and then go in and make the drums like really, make them really bang. And then just go through that same process of just, okay, this would sound good. This would sound good. Blah, 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 blah. And it just carries on for sometimes like, bro, some of these songs I'm working on right now that I haven't released, I started them back in like last June, last May.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still changing them because it's that process of just pulling them up and saying, no, that could be better.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm gonna move that a little bit. And it's crazy. Like I never realized how long it would actually take to do all this until I got into
I
it, and
mean,
now it's just like, wow, I can just sit down and listen to this song 6 months later and still have new ideas of how this could sound.
right.
It's crazy.
The only thing that I can equate that to in my own life is when I used to take art in high school,
Mm-hmm.
I used to paint stuff and like I'd spend I think like 9 weeks on one work, and there would be
Mm.
times where like I'd work on something every single day for like a week straight. And then like I'd step away for like 3 weeks, and then I'd come back and I have like a completely brand new vision for it.
Right.
It's just like like all those artists and
Yep.
everything like that, like the more it sits, the better it gets.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true, bro. Definitely. I remember you were showing me some of the paintings the other day, bro. You definitely have some kind of natural ability for that. Like even if you don't
I
like
miss that.
manifest it anymore,
I
you
miss
definitely
that
have
so
a
much.
gift with that. Like
There's nothing more
it's
beautiful to
just
me than like making my own beauty.
right.
And that's honestly like one of the reasons that I really like working out is because
Mm-hmm.
like I have a vision of beauty in my head, and like when I work out, it's me making myself into that thing of beauty that I
Mm,
want, you know?
I like that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Because like you can't buy, well, okay, yeah, you can have surgery and stuff like that, but like you have to earn it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Bro, it's almost like that creative process gets projected into you. Like it can get projected into your whole life where you
Hmm.
see yourself as that work of art.
Hmm.
What would be the most beautiful version of yourself? And then you just start painting away.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And like you said, sometimes you take a little break and you come back and you're like, "Ooh, I have a different vision for this."
Hmm.
Those are just times when maybe you sit down and you say, "You know what? I'm going in this direction in my life, but I'm going to take a detour and I'm going to go over here instead. I don't like this path I'm going down anymore." And be willing to just say, "You know what? Scrap that. I'm going this direction." Because
Hmm.
sometimes it's like that when I'm making music. I'm sitting down and I have this whole thing put together. There's times I make a whole beat and then I pull it up the next day. This is trash. Just
Hmm.
move on. Never think about it again.
Hmm.
And that's okay because you learn from those
You
processes.
learn what works and what doesn't.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You can't be afraid to fail, quote unquote. Quote unquote. You can't be afraid to fail because that's where you're going to learn.
Hmm.
You could go down a whole wrong career path in your life. And
Oh
maybe you're
yeah.
30 years old and then you decide, you know what? I'm going to go do this instead. Like, bro, most people will not have the willpower to make that decision. But those who will, those people
Dude.
are going to, they're going to get so much out of life because they have two whole different perspectives on life from these different lives they've lived.
I remember when I started my first job right out of college,
Mm-hmm.
I literally thought it would be like my be all end all. I thought I was going to be there for years.
Yep.
And then like I got in there and I was miserable. And I didn't you like what me getting out of that job I thought was me being a failure because I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't conquer it. But then like I realized that like it's not necessarily about like like while it is about conquering stuff and like that, um
You have to pick your battles.
you do, and like sometimes you have to do a tactical retreat, and like
Yep.
me quitting that job to me was like me throwing in the towel, and I
Mm-hmm.
got out of there, and then I just went back to waiting tables, and then the next thing I know I found something that I love, and I was like,
Yep.
whoa, it's just completely turned my world upside down.
Right.
But I did have to go to that thing where I failed,
Yep.
but I got back up.
You got to.
Yeah.
You got to. I mean, it's crazy that you're so young and you've already had an experience
Hmm.
like that. Because some people don't get that experience till later in life of realizing, like, oh wow,
Hmm.
like I
Like
can just switch it up and I'm fine.
when you fail at stuff, you find out what works and what doesn't, and that's like the greatest learning experience because it's like the same thing with the entrepreneurial mindset
Hmm.
of like you learn from your failures. Did I ever tell you about the one dude's company? He had a really successful company, and it completely went under and it failed, and he restarted a different company, and his policy was that everybody in the company was completely honest with everything that went on all the time. Like the CEO could give a lecture to like his whole not like a lecture or like a seminar, and any one of his employees could say like, "Hey, I thought that was boring and I learned nothing from it," or like, "This is what you should have done." And his company is so successful now, and it's just like a blow my mind business model.
Bro, listen. That is amazing. Like, I'm just amazed to hear a story like that because I think sometimes I just see this in the business world of like, and I haven't quite figured out
Hmm.
all of this. Like, I'm still trying to understand all this right now. But I look at things like business models or like marketing strategies or this or that way to do things. And it's like, bro, it just seems like so many of these things that people accept as being like the way to do something
Might
is
not
just
be the way.
not the
Yeah.
best way to do it. Like, how many bosses are going to allow their employee to say, this is boring? But, bro, if that boss was actually humble, if he could let go of his ego, he would understand that
Hmm.
the employee finding that lecture boring means one of two things. Either that employee is not in the right position or he needs to get better lectures. and have better information to give his employees, or if he has that information, say it in a more compelling way. And it's like if you told me that business model, as surprising as it is to hear that it's an actual thing that happened in the world, bro, that to me does just sound like the best business model. Complete honesty.
Because I think that honestly, a lot of times that we get so detached with like with positions in life that like we miss out so much because like what more is life than just like connection and interaction with people?
Right. That's
Like
like
it's
the
one of the best
fundamental
it's one of the
thing.
best things in life. Like what do we live for? Human interaction. You
Right.
know? Yeah.
And I wouldn't even say that that is necessarily the thing we live for, but most people do,
I
even
mean,
if they don't realize it. How many people,
we're sociable creatures.
right? And how many people will sit and not be sociable, but wish they were, and but not admit it to themselves. How many people do you see that happening to? You probably don't see them a lot because they're inside, they're not doing
Right.
things. But that's something that I actually was like just thinking about this a lot the other day. I think I actually like I did a YouTube video and I think I talked about this in it where it was like bro, you can change how social you are. Like if you're a really social person but you kind of want to take a step back and work on yourself, that's okay to stop hanging out with people as much. Like you're going to be fine.
That's what I've been doing.
Or if you're the other way around and you don't talk to people a lot and you want to learn to make friends, bro, just go out and start conversations with people. People like most people enjoy interacting with you. Like in public, they may be a bit startled at first. They may kind of be like, "Oh, this stranger is talking to me," like, and not have good conversation
Dude,
for a
I
little
love
bit.
those little like tidbits when you're at the grocery store
Right.
and like you have like a common emotion with somebody where like you're both frustrated about something and like you both look at each other and both roll your eyes. Like I love that.
Right. People love that. Just human interaction, genuine human interaction. It really just makes life fun. Just go out and just say what you want to say. If you're thinking something and it's interesting, like say it to someone. Like what worst case scenario, they ignore you, be like, "Oh, this guy's crazy." Okay, who are they to say
Yeah.
you're crazy? You're
Oh
not.
well, go on and talk to the
Right,
next person.
exactly. See if the next guy will entertain you. Like,
What we got?
ooh, this is my favorite one. All right, Jake. What do you think about Atlantis? Is it real? Is it not real?
Snap. Okay. So I actually saw this thing on Twitter. It was a map of the world. Okay, so I believe in Pangea.
Okay.
I believe that like you can see all the. I think that all the continents used to be one thing because you can see where they fit together. I
It
saw
fits
this.
together so
Yeah,
well.
I saw this one thing on Twitter that like showed like two abandoned cities, and one of them was Atlantis, and another one was a different one.
Okay.
But I do believe that Atlantis might possibly be real because I've heard a lot of stuff about like underwater
think it is,
research.
bro.
All right,
I kinda think it
I think you
is.
know more about this one, so you start.
Okay, I mean, Plato wrote about Atlantis, like specifically. As far as I'm aware, he's like the first account of this city, and it's supposedly he described it as being. I may have some of the terminology wrong on this because I'm like actively studying this right now, trying to figure it out. But it's like, from what I understand, it was like circular structures. Like the city was made in like circles, if I understand correctly. I can't give you much more explanation on that. I'm still figuring all this out. But it's like so.
Stay tuned.
Yes, stay tuned. I'll have the scoop on Atlantis for y'all soon enough. So he described this city, and it was supposedly like very advanced. Now, when we imagine advanced, we imagine like microphones and computers and stuff
Right.
like that. But no, it was like navigation and stuff like that. And they had like agriculture and stuff like for a city around that time, for them to really understand navigation well, like that was a big achievement. There was supposedly a lot of people there, and he wrote about this city. And then, as far as I'm aware, the records are that there was a big flood and that kind of wiped it out. And now I'm sure there's probably like historians who would say like, "Oh, you're butchering this," but it's like generally, from what I understand, that's kind of the story, right? It was a big city written about, and then there was a flood that wiped it out. And there's evidence. There's evidence that in history there was big floods
Right.
that came through. Like I don't know what caused them. Maybe it was. I don't even want to get into speculation on
Right,
what
right,
caused
right.
it, but but it's very possible that that could happen because it could have been like an asteroid impact. Like there's
Yeah.
evidence of many asteroid impacts throughout human history where it's like, bro, there could have been an asteroid and caused a tsunami or something, but it got wiped out. And now there's evidence of there having been an advanced civilization around that time. And it's like I've heard a lot of these details, but I don't know them well enough to really say them back to you accurately because I don't want to just start like making stuff up and acting like I know more than I do. But it really seems to me like it's very possible that there was a somewhat advanced civilization back then that just got wiped away and it's kind of been taken out of the history books because I mean what you got to think history, how I think of history is a long game of telephone. Think how much the story of life would get twisted over hundreds of years of one game of telephone of what happened in history. Some stuff is going to get lost. Even some very important stuff is going to get lost. Or not even lost, just that not everyone knows about it.
I'm gonna Google Atlantis.
Google Atlantis.
I'm gonna do it. Hold on, Atlantis, and then we'll see Atlantis.
For people who are curious about Atlantis and the topic, if you would like to learn more, I suggest listen to Randall Carlson and Graham Hancock. They'll give you the scoop on
Okay,
Atlantis.
so it says that Atlantis was located between Africa and America.
See, bro. You can't.
Okay.
You can't trust what
Okay,
Wikipedia
okay,
says
okay,
about
okay,
something that's
hold
not
on.
even confirmed because there's like they don't know where Atlantis was. Like
Okay,
people
this
have
says
different
Plato's
theories.
Here. Hold on. This is from history.com.
What's history.com say?
Let's mention Plato's dialogues. As a powerful and
It
advanced
says
kingdom.
likely mythical, bro. They don't even history.com doesn't even know what they're talking about. Like they're trying to make these like likely mythical. Like, how do you know if it's likely?
Hold on. Generally assumed to mean the Strait of Gibraltar.
Gibraltar.
Gibraltar. Okay.
What's it
Okay.
saying?
It's saying that as the Atlanteans grew powerful, their ethics declined. Their armies eventually conquered Africa, as far as Egypt and Europe, as far as Italy, before being driven back by an Athenian-led alliance. Later, by way of divine punishment, the island was beset by earthquakes and floods and sank into a muddy sea.
Jake,
What?
I had this crazy theory one day, and I may have brought this up to you already. It's a very crazy theory. I will say that. This is not something I'm saying I subscribe to, but it's a theory. Do you think the Tower of Babel in the Bible is an analog story of Atlantis? It's an actual account of a city that reached a certain point technologically and their morals declined, and then God had to punish
I mean,
them.
it could be. I also think that Genesis talks about Gilgamesh. I think that there's direct biblical reference with us talking about Nimrod, and like because like the whole building off of what you said, I think that there's a lot of stuff. Maybe it is Atlantis. I don't know for sure.
Yeah, I would have to look. Like I haven't even looked at the dates or anything. That could just be very easily deniable. But
What do you
at bare
think? What do you
minimum,
think about all with the giant game of telephone? What do you think about like a lot of like the major religions of the world that they all have the same similar flood account? What do you think about that? Do you think that there was? Have you noticed that like Native Americans, Babylonians, Christianity, and like a bunch of other religions, they all have the same flood account. There's different, but it's all like that there was a giant flood.
Bro, I have no reason to think. I have no reason to think there wasn't a flood. By any means, like it's in the Bible. There's evidence of it in the world that there was giant floods. I mean, I was just saying how there was like Atlantis was possibly wiped out by a flood. I think it's crazy if people want to say it's that there couldn't be a flood because you don't subscribe to a certain religion. Like that
Right.
to me, that's crazy to see people think of that as like a point of contention. Like, bro, how do you you don't know anything about history and you're gonna sit here and say there wasn't a flood? And there's a lot of things in history or just in the world that it's like that where it's like if you really don't know about it, why are you making all these conclusions about it?
Right. It wouldn't surprise me if Atlantis is real. I would like to see more, and I would love to learn more about that.
Yeah, it's a fascinating subject.
I I'm also okay. Have you ever heard about like Nikolai Tesla and like a lot of the designs he had that like got swept under the carpet because of like with electricity and
This is
stuff like that?
crazy. This is crazy. I was just like digging deep on Nikola Tesla earlier today with Tay. We were working on a school project and we got sidetracked talking about Nikola Tesla, bro. Bro, Jake, I'm gonna say something.
Mm-hmm.
This is crazy, and I didn't realize it was like this. I don't have confirmation that any of this is true. I'm just gonna say what I read on this document. This is from FBI declassified documents that I was reading today about Nikola Tesla. There was a document that said Nikola Tesla, supposedly, I can't say this is true, supposedly, according to this document, he went to the government and he told them that if they would set up radio towers every 150 miles along the border, that he would install the equipment to project energy beams higher than the atmosphere of the Earth that no physical object could pass through. It would instantly lose its molecular stability. And the government said no. And what happened with Nikola Tesla?
Didn't it like all his research get like burnt and everything like that?
He was at a convention, and this could be a little bit false. This is information that I'm repeating that I heard. I have to give that disclaimer. I haven't looked deeply into this. Nikola Tesla went, and this is like kind of baseline info. If I'm going to talk about Nikola Tesla, I really ought to research the basics before I'm even going to talk about it. But it's interesting. So, from what I understand, he was at a conference, and then he went to his hotel room, and died of natural causes that night. And the government just took all his documents.
Yeah.
They just took all of it. What do you think about that?
It would not surprise me. I've heard like little bits and rumors and like stuff on the Twitterverse about like hidden technology and stuff all from Tesla. And I heard about like Tesla towers and stuff like that.
Yep.
So
He was trying to harness the power of ball lightning. It's supposedly very powerful.
Dude.
And he was trying to do this.
ball lightning is crazy.
It is. It's so rare.
Have you
It's
seen like the
wild.
YouTube videos that if you put like burnt matches in a microwave, you can create ball lightning?
I don't think so, no.
Yeah,
That sounds
I think I
crazy.
saw like a YouTube video on it. But like it can pass through like walls and stuff like that. It's crazy.
And he was trying to do all that, bro. You think the government just whacked him? You think he tapped into some stuff he wasn't
would not
supposed to know
surprise
about?
me if the government whacked him. Would they probably have the cure for cancer, but because of how profitable the cancer industry is, they probably just whack
Right.
anybody. I mean, any doctor that claims to have like any alternative treatment of cancer or anything like that instantly loses their license.
Like, how is this possible? How is this possible? I mean, bro, it's Western medicine. Like, the older I've gotten, the more I've realized that Western medicine just doesn't know what it's about. Like, people in other countries that use natural medicines, herbs, plants, stuff like that, bro, you do not see them having the problems that we have over here with, like, big pharma says that you have to pay this much for this treatment. Like, bro, they'll take natural herbs and stuff, and it'll actually make them feel better.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy that we've created this whole industry. That of course the medical industry has its benefits.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to talk down on anyone who works
No,
in the
it's
medical
amazing
industry.
that we
It's
even
amazing
have
the things they do.
all the advances and cures that we do.
But I feel like our technology sometimes is like it's going in the wrong direction.
What do you think about the did you see they put a pig lung in a dude and it like binded?
Wow.
Yeah. Or like pigs are like very compatible with humans for like organ transplants or something like that.
Interesting. I
Yeah.
didn't see that. No, that's
Yeah.
very wild. Mm-hmm. Would you get a pig lung?
No. Mm-mm. Not if I could help it.
You start oinking.
Bruh. Half man, half pig.
Do you think the Chinese government has chimeras?
It would not surprise me, dude. I genuinely don't think that the Chinese government has any morals. I mean, look what the Japanese did in World War II to their prisoners of war and like the Nazi experiments. Like that was 80 years ago. You don't think that there's somebody somewhere doing some sick sadistic stuff like that?
They do, bro. Look what they're doing to the Uyghurs over in China.
Yeah.
It's not even like it's public information.
Yeah.
It's crazy, bro.
Yep.
It's crazy.
And it's all just swept under the carpet.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. I mean, think of what they hide from their people. Think of what they're willing to let us know. Now think of the things that they're not willing to let anyone know.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you could go to a Chinese lab, like some of their, I'm talking like secret underground labs, like bio labs, the stuff that they do not let anyone get into. Bro, they've got to have some of the most horrifying things you've ever seen in your life down there in some labs.
Did you ever see the human body experiment? Or it was an exhibit that was in Mobile, I think, and my mom took me to it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was literally like, I kid you not, like 100 cadavers that like the ins and outs of the human body, just like on display.
Mm.
And they took like, I think, prisoners, and like, I don't know if they died of natural causes or not, but it was literally like dead bodies of like prisoners, just like in an exhibit.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Dang, I do not want to see that. That sounds terrible.
Give me a second.
Dang, no, you're gonna pull it up?
Yeah.
I don't want to see that.
Human body. Give me 1 second. It was like, hold on.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yep.
Wow. What was the experience of that like?
I did not like that. That was weird. Blech.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's gross. I'm not about that. Let's draw another topic, Jake.
Where'd they go? Where'd you put that?
All right, I'll give it to you.
Oh, you did. I'm just dumb. Animal def.
Oh, bro. Okay. That's that picture I was showing you. I'm gonna have to edit this on screen for people to see. Okay.
Oh,
okay. So it's pick 2.
Okay.
They will defend you, and the rest is coming to kill you.
Right.
Okay. So you have 50. I don't know if that's a hawk or an eagle. Let's say eagle. You got 10 crocodiles. 3 grizzly bears. 7. What's that? A bison.
Yeah.
1 dude with a shotgun. 15 wolves. 4 lions. 5 silverbacks, or 10,000 otters. I think the 10,000 otters is just too much. I really think that wins by default.
Yeah.
10,000 is an absurd amount. So I think we could lower that to like maybe 2,000 otters. That might be reasonable. That might even be too much. I don't know how much to say for the otters.
What would you pick? I think I'd pick 2,000 otters.
I honestly feel like the otters is just too OP.
Yeah.
Unless you made it like 50 or no, like 100. Let's be real, because like 50 hawks could take out 100 otters actually. So the hawks would counter the otters so well if it was a small amount. But I don't even think we worry about the otters.
Wait, are we sure it's a shotgun?
It might be a hunting rifle.
Oh, okay. So like you have to pick one, and then all of the rest.
You pick 2, and the rest come kill you.
I think I picked 4 lions and the human.
Really?
Yeah.
I think 5 silverbacks would ruin 4 lions. I don't think that would even be a fair fight.
Dude, I
think silverbacks would mess up lions, bro. I think lions are very deadly. Don't underestimate lions, but 5 silverbacks.
Wait, is it 5?
5 silverbacks, 4 lions. Because you got to think about the matchups here. Okay, because you got yourself. Whatever you pick, you have to pit that against eagles, crocodiles, bears, wolves, a gun, bison, lion, silverback. Minus, of course, the ones you pick. But there's a lot of matchups to consider here. Because you got to think like the eagles, 50 eagles could probably take 10 crocodiles. You think they could go for the eyes?
I don't know if 50 eagles could take 10 crocodiles.
I don't know if they could. If they could target the eyes, but I don't know. I don't even know how effective that would be.
Dude, okay, but the crocodile is like a land-based creature. How is the... Because, like, I guarantee you 10 crocodiles could eat 50 eagles. No problem.
Yeah, actually, they would probably just snatch them right out the air.
Yeah, and just...
Yeah, no, that actually would be a done game with those.
Maybe I'd choose
I'm trying
the
to think
5
what the
silverbacks
50
and the
eagles
human.
could take out. The 50 eagles could take out one dude with a gun.
Yeah, that's... Yeah.
I mean, the 50 eagles, I don't know if they
Depends
could
on what type
take
of gun
out.
he has. Like, if he has a machine gun.
That's not a machine gun. That's a hunting rifle or shotgun of some sort.
I think you're
I think
reading too
50.
literally into it.
No, bro. This is how you got to answer it. What do you pick?
That's a tough one.
It is. I want silverbacks and I want eagles really bad.
You
But then I'm thinking like, bro, the wolves and the wolves and the bison would mess up. Like that would just ruin the silverbacks. Those together.
Yeah, because the bison could stampede.
And just by sheer numbers, like 15 wolves is a lot. And then lions, like the lion, bro, lions do a lot of work. And grizzly bears. Lions and grizzly bears together, I really don't think any combination could take out the lions and grizzly bears together. That might actually be the best choice. But then you gotta think 50 eagles. Like the 50 eagles is just crazy. That's a lot of eagles.
That is a lot of eagles. Did you know that a bear's top speed is 34 miles per hour?
Wow.
Yeah.
What kind of bear?
Grizzly bear. Hold on.
Grizzly bears are crazy.
I was looking at this in the Joe Rogan podcast. Hold on. That is true. Top speed of an American grizzly bear. Come on. 34.8 miles per hour.
That's so fast.
Lion's top speed is 49 miles per hour.
Bro, I think lions and grizzly bears as a combo together on a team would be deadly.
I want to look up, what is the speed of a silverback gorilla? Oh, I think it's like 25 miles per hour. They can reach speeds of over 20 miles per hour with a top speed at 25 miles per hour.
A grizzly can really outrun a silver bear. A silver bear. A silverback. That's crazy. I don't think we can come to a conclusion on that question.
I think that a grizzly bear would beat a gorilla in a fight. I really do. One grizzly bear versus one gorilla.
It's like the only reason that I'm tempted to say gorilla. Like I really think a grizzly bear, if you don't play it perfectly, you're just dead.
Yeah.
But a silverback is smart and agile. So I think it has a chance. I'm not sure it would win, but I don't think it would be as clear of a fight.
I say a gorilla is smarter than a bear, but I still think the bear would win.
The bear just has so much swiping power.
Yeah.
But the gorilla could be smart and he could like
use tools.
Know where to go. No, he's gonna go craft a pickaxe and just
use like a rock. Because I don't think a grizzly bear is smart enough to pick up a rock and throw it.
No, I don't think so. The silverback might be able to do that, but I don't know how much damage that would do against a grizzly bear. Like those things get shot and survive.
Yeah.
So he would have to like go for the face and like pry its jaw open or something. But grizzly bears have so much power, I don't know if he'd get away with that.
I think the gorilla has a lower center of gravity. Mm-hmm. But I think the grizzly bear, are they like what, 15 feet tall? Hold on, how tall? Let's see, how tall is that grizzly bear? Grizzly bear. 40 inches. What is 40?
That's not very tall, actually.
What? Hold on. Oh, 8 feet tall.
8 feet tall. Yeah, that I would not want to run into a grizzly bear in the wild, bro. That would just feel like a horror movie. Those things are terrifying.
Yeah. Oh, dude.
Just stand up on his back legs and look at you. Like,
8 feet tall?
With that mouth and those
That's
eyes.
taller than, like, most men.
Significantly
Earth, yeah.
taller.
Gorilla's like what?
Wow.
6 feet tall? 5 feet? No, 5 feet tall? 5 feet tall, I think.
Probably something like that.
Yeah.
5, 6 feet.
I still think a grizzly bear would win.
It's like as time goes on, I lean more towards grizzly bear, but I really think a silverback.
I think it's an apex land predator.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, a peak grizzly bear. I mean, now if it's a polar bear, bro, I don't know. A polar bear, like, it's probably just over. Polar bears are too vicious. Like, you can't get anything over on them. Before we pick our next question, we were just talking about video games. video games and like making soundtracks for them, right?
Right.
So my buddy Ben, me and him we're working on a video game right now. He
Really?
does all the coding and stuff like that, and I'm kind of coming up with the story and everything. And it's like, bro, I have this whole. So have you ever played Binding of Isaac?
Huh?
Binding of Isaac. Okay, so it's a game. It's like it's a top-down 2D game. Think like Zelda, where it's like just top-down, and like you move your character around, and like the whole premise of the game is like you have these state or not the premise, but like gameplay wise, there's rooms and there's enemies in the rooms. You beat a room, you go to the next room. Beat the room, you go to the next room. You don't have a map of the floor. The floor is randomly generated every time. So you go through the stage and you find the boss. You beat the boss, you go down to the next floor. And the whole thing is like a progression of going down floors. But whenever you die, it's like you reset, go back to and like you just have to start over. Like that's the end of your run. And you unlock different characters and there's items. So throughout the run, you're getting like crazy items. So you start out where you just like shoot a little bit, but then by the end you can have like laser beams and they like bounce off walls and it like gets really crazy. So I want to make a game basically because Binding of Isaac, I believe the
Is
final
that biblical?
update. Yeah, there's a lot of the game has like biblical references in it. It's a very interesting game. Like in the boss fights, like you fight God and you fight Satan in the game. Like those are like the final boss fights that you can get to. It's crazy. Like it goes through a whole like it's wild. And you can take like different endings. So you pick like through the things you do in the game, like you can get certain items and those allow you to go down to the floor where you fight Satan. Or you do certain things, then you go up to like the cathedral and you fight all the angels and stuff like that. It's crazy. I want to make a game with the same sort of gameplay as that, where you go through the stages, but I want the story to just be like crazier than Binding of Isaac, like really wild, but all over the place. So you have different characters, right? And you start, and like one of them starts in the middle of the woods, and the whole thing is like you go through the woods and you go to the mountains, and it's like that premise. Another one starts in the middle of like the hood, and it's like you're fighting gangsters and stuff like that. And then another one maybe starts in like the Wild West, and it's like all of these completely random stories, but I want it to be so that they all interconnect. Like you start on this, you start in the Wild West, and you go to this tunnel, and you end up in a military base, and then there's like a portal that takes you to another military base. Like have it be so it's like you can unlock this crazy stuff, and you go and you can fight like Greek gods and stuff. Like I want it to just go as crazy as possible, and of course that will take a very long time to get to all of those stages. But I have this vision for this game, bro, and it could really be like the best top-down like 2D game like that if it's made right. Because story-wise, like I just have so many ideas, and all these different characters, like you have different characters, and they will all have different abilities and stuff like that. And it's like the whole point of the game is to just unlock everything and complete all of the missions, basically. Like that's what you're working towards. But it's like it's just fun to see, like, okay, I want it to be like really interconnected stories. So you go down here and this connects you to this other storyline over here. And then you can go down this storyline. Like just make it really like a ton of gameplay. And I think it could be a great game, bro. Like Ben working on the coding and everything like that. And I'm just getting ideas for like graphics and stuff like that. And it's going to be a very long process. Like I'm not going to be able to put a lot of time into it, because it could be very time consuming to try to get it done quick. But I don't know, bro. It's just fun. Like I've always wanted to make a video game, and now I have a friend who said like, yeah, bro, we can make a video game.
Yo, that's dope.
Right? Like imagine being able to play a game, like, and I could have all of you guys like test run it for us. Be like, yo, check out this iteration of the game. What do you think? Like, give me feedback on gameplay and like mechanics and stuff like that.
I think that's a great idea, honestly.
It'd be fun, bro. You could voice a character. Like I want to have like all my homies can voice one of the characters. And the thing is, I want it to be like you could even come to me with an idea for a character, and then we can make a level around like a floor and like a storyline around that character, and then you voice him, and we can like I want it to be just a fun thing that like I can get all of my friends involved in, and we just have this thing where it's like one day we can sit back and just play it and then put it out for other people to play. And now it's still in like we don't even have a demo put together right now. Ben's working on it actively, so it's like I don't even have anything to show for it, but it's just an idea, right? Cool. Isn't that cool? It's so exciting. You want to get to a question? I say a question, a topic matter.
We already did that.
I said a topic matter. What's a topic matter?
Flat Earth.
I don't really know what you want to talk about Flat Earth. I don't really have much to say about Flat Earth. I think it's kind of ridiculous.
I think it is ridiculous. I've heard people talk about that It's a dome.
I've heard that theory. I've heard that
Do you
theory.
remember that thing I sent you on Twitter about like there's different regions beyond Antarctica and stuff like that?
Yeah, I don't. It was like there's no evidence, so I couldn't say
Yeah.
whether it made sense. But I mean, it could be, bro. Because think you really can't get to Antarctica. You can't
Yeah.
just go there to see what. I mean, there could be like, bro, what's the military doing in Antarctica and in the
That's what I
Arctic?
want to. Why does the CIA have a military base in like Antarctica?
Like, what are they
The
doing down
presidents
there?
have gone there. Like Obama went there a whole bunch too.
They gotta have some crazy stuff there, bro.
Yeah.
Some crazy technologies, information that we can't even dream
Because
of.
like it's not like people can readily access there versus like the Area 51.
Right?
Yeah.
Crazy, bro.
Crazy.
It's crazy. It's just there, and we just have to live with this information of yeah, the government's just doing stuff underground and in Antarctica that we don't know about.
Dude, there's probably so much stuff that we don't even know about. Okay. Did you okay, are you familiar with the story of like the hunt for Red October?
Hunt for Red October. No, you're gonna have to
Okay,
fill
so
me in.
there was this one theory that during the Cold War, um a rogue Russian element was trying to start a nuclear war by launching a nuclear missile, and I think they put this it was like a rogue sub, and they were gonna launch a missile like near Hawaii, so it would have looked like the Chinese did it, but like sub got blown up by like people on the inside rather than start World War Three.
Really?
Yeah, because they found like, hold on, give me 1 second. Let me see if I can find a little bit. Give me 1 second. So it says in 1967, a Soviet submarine with a deadly payload of nuclear missiles mysteriously disappeared off the coast of Hawaii. Um, so basically, it's the theory is that, um, according to this one dude, like Soviet sub K-129 was hijacked by a band of rogue KGB commandos to provoke a war between America and China by making it appear like a China attacked Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but when the captain realized that the mutiny wasn't authorized by the Soviet government, he gave the KGB operatives the wrong launch codes to his missiles. So basically, like, it's this little like YouTube documentary assigned, but basically, like, they blew the sub up rather than have that start.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah,
Those guys are heroes.
yeah, if it's true, but
Yeah. Wow.
that's really UFOs.
That was the
That,
last
that
one?
was the last one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
We went through those quick.
UFOs, dude.
UFOs. Okay.
I don't know if my brain could handle like if aliens really did show up.
Right. Like, what would you actually do if little gray dudes were just part of society? I mean, not like part of day to day life, but if that was just a thing, like, yeah, they're out there.
Do you think that like if that actually happened, that like humanity would bind together to try to destroy them? So I don't
honestly
know if
don't know.
because you always see that in the movies, but I don't know if like that would actually happen or not.
It's like, bro, we don't know that they're a threat.
Mm-hmm.
You would probably have camps of people who would say they're a threat. We need to take them out. But I don't think there would be the majority. I think most people, if it was really the case that these dudes were flying around in these crazy ships and just coming and going as they please, and then they were here, I think people would really humble up and realize like we can't start a fight with this. Like, we don't know what we're getting into. We don't know what technologies they have on their home world, or if maybe they live under the ocean, or I don't know. There's theories that they live inside the earth. I don't want to say like that I believe that, but it's like, bro, we don't know where they're coming from. So I think it would be crazy for people to say we should try to take them out. I think that would be nuts because we could possibly just be signing
A death warrant.
our death warrant, like for real. I think we would have to just kind of accept whatever happens and just try to keep living life and realize that if they're powerful enough that they could take us out and they've chosen not to, we just have to have faith and be grateful it hasn't happened and just live our
I'm
lives.
still waiting for that UFO D-class.
They declassified a lot of stuff already.
Have you dug in? Dude, we should honestly
I haven't
just
dug
we
in
should
in a
dig
while.
into that, honestly. We should take like a day where we just do digging.
Yeah, Yeah, because I would like to read through a lot of the CIA documents and just everything that they've
I don't
declassified. But
understand why people aren't more.
I've seen a lot of documentaries, and it seems like a lot of this information that they're putting out is information that has kind of already been known.
Mhm.
It's not like they're declassifying like, oh, we have a live alien specimen or anything like that. Like the stuff that they're declassifying is like, yeah, people have been like, if you listen to the right people, they've been saying this stuff for a while. A lot of them. What are you saying?
I was gonna say, I just wonder like why more people don't wonder about it.
I mean, yeah,
I mean, guaranteed it doesn't really affect our day-to-day lives,
right.
or does it?
Right? It very well could affect our day to day lives, or it's something that one day it all of a sudden does. But I think, bro, for a lot of people, like, people have lives, they have jobs to go to, they have stuff that they're trying to do in their day to day lives, and they don't have time to. I don't want to say they don't have time, because of course you have time to
Yeah,
think,
but
like, you don't have a lot of people just don't have the energy to put towards figuring out if aliens are real. Like, bro, for most people, that's just something that it's like, yeah, they could be real, but I don't know. I'm just living my life. Like, a lot of people aren't as concerned about that type of stuff as maybe like me and you are. Like I like digging and finding crazy stuff in the world just to find crazy stuff. And if it's like, oh, there could be aliens, like I don't know, for me that's entertaining to see like, bro,
oh,
is there
100%.
aliens? But then it's like it's also scary because sometimes you get deep into that stuff and you start to realize that wow, like
There
we
might be
really
aliens.
don't know anything
Hmm.
substantial about this. Like if it actually is aliens in spaceships coming to our planet, bro, we do not know anything about where they come from. We don't know what we're dealing with,
Or do we?
or do we? Some
Dude.
people might know. There might be people on this earth who know and they choose not to tell us. That's possible too.
That'd be crazy.
Bro, the public would freak.
I'd freak.
Yes, bro, it would be chaos.
I don't think I'd come out of my house.
If the ships just descended one day, bro, and they just said like, if the aliens just one day just said, "Hey, we're here," dude, society would freak.
Literally, like,
It would be panic.
I dare say it'd be like the single most chaos thing that has ever happened ever.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, it would be so much chaos on such a broad scale. That it would be. I don't think you could imagine the effects it would have on people. Think about, bro, when there's a hurricane coming to Pensacola, what happens? People buy up all the supplies. Aliens descend.
In the
Oh, it's
entire
over.
world? Bedlam.
Yeah, no.
I mean, dude, like
it would
even
be
the military
craziest thing ever.
couldn't maintain order.
No.
Like if aliens descended on like one country, like say aliens descended upon Australia, the world
The
would,
whole
the
world is
whole
up in
world
flames.
literally.
Maybe that's why they haven't told us, because they know. The government knows that would happen, bro. If they know that there's aliens, they're not telling us, probably for that reason specifically. And that's why they've been trying to drip feed it to us for a little while. Because they're getting people more acclimated to the idea. Like, think about before you actually got into all this stuff, if you were that ignorant and then one day they just showed up and it was like, oh my God. Like, it would be chaos. Now you've probably thought about it enough that you would still freak, but not to the same extent. Most people are still in that first category
Dude,
of
I'd
not
crap if aliens
like,
appeared in front of me. I would genuinely crap my pants.
yes, I don't know how you react in a situation like that.
Yeah.
You kind of just have to take whatever comes. Like, if they're gonna take you, they're gonna take you. If they're
No,
gonna come
well,
talk
if
to you,
they-
they're gonna talk to you. Like,
Yeah, well, I mean, I would preferably not. I would do my best to not be taken, but
yeah,
like,
I would not want to be
if they
taken.
get me a tractor beam, it's over.
It's over.
Yeah.
You just have to accept your fate.
Dude, did I ever send you that one article about spaceships and force fields? You made fun of me when I sent it to you.
Then yes, you send it to me.
Okay.
If I made fun of you.
Dude, it was like
But
this
yeah.
one thing that they said that they have actual like spaceships that are shaped like submarines that go in space, and that they have like force fields and stuff that they could put on like aircraft carriers.
See, it's like the reason that I don't have anything to say because I don't have any evidence that this is the case. I mean, that'd be crazy. That would be crazy, but I really wouldn't even be surprised at this. It'd be like, okay, cool. Like, yeah, that would be nuts, though. I mean, for them to just not tell us about that information. But
I was surprised they
of course
haven't.
they wouldn't.
Dude, do you think we even have the technology to like develop a force field?
They've got to have it somewhere, bro.
There has to be some like type of development for
There
it.
has to. I mean, you know they've been trying to make that for years.
Do you know that one of China's they have this new like hypersonic missile program that's like light years ahead of like any other countries?
Like, why, bro?
Well, also, but one of the dudes defected to the U.S., so that's a good thing. But
Why do they need, bro? Why do people need all these crazy weapons? Like, it's crazy. Why do we need to blow each other up so bad? Can we not all just live in peace and be cool? It's
it'd be
crazy
nice.
to just see people out here dedicating so many resources to weapons. The whole point is just to kill people. Like, bro, why don't you go give that money to people who could actually benefit from it and like, be a good person? But no, people just want to say weapons. We need more weapons. And it's like the problem is, as soon as one person gets weapons like that,
Everybody else
you
has
have
to,
to, or
yeah.
they're just gonna take you over. It's sad because as technology is progressing, all you can do is keep up.
Yep.
You don't really have a choice, or you're just gonna get wiped away in history because you're gonna get conquered. It's like I think we're kind of disconnected from like human roots sometimes. Where it's like, bro, you got to think societies back in the day, people just pull up and conquer you. Like
Yeah.
you're chilling one day, and the next thing you know,
The
okay,
Ostrogoths have taken
yep,
Rome.
they've just taken it, bro. You can't do anything about it.
Genghis
People
Khan.
still live like that. Like people still have that instinct in them to take over. We just don't see it happen in front of our eyes every day.
I
So
mean,
we
I think
assume
it's a
it's
little
just
bit
in the past.
respectable.
As long as I don't know, I don't
Like that, like you. Okay, like, do you know how much resolve that takes?
It does.
Like, while I don't condone it at the same time, I do respect it.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like if okay, like say you take over a country to establish a new government and you make it a better country. Is that wrong? I don't know. I wouldn't. I wouldn't think so. But if you go in and you just rape and pillage, I mean, of course, that's not right.
Yeah.
But they did that a lot back in the day too.
I
It
mean,
was
I
just
would
like
dare
free
say that the
reign.
reason Atlanta is so much more advanced a city than a lot of the other southern cities is because it got burnt to the ground during the Civil War. Because, like, they had to rebuild the entire city. And I think, I think that the North won the war because because if you had it, it was agriculture versus industry. And like there was two, and like that was why the South had so much like slavery because they were more agriculture. And I think that the reason the North won is because they had more industry. Um, but yeah, I'm curious. I know like a lot of I think it was Ulysses S. Grant or no, Sherman's March to the Sea. I know one of those generals. He completely like burned every city that he conquered, and I know Atlanta was one of them. So,
That's crazy, bro. They would just burn a city to the ground.
yep,
That's wild. Like we're fortunate we don't have to live through that, bro.
yeah,
We get to just live regular lives and enjoy regular, like I say regular. It's there's nothing regular about it. It's just a certain type of human struggle, as opposed to oh we gotta make sure we have enough food to survive today. We gotta make sure we don't freeze to death.
yep,
We gotta make sure we can defend ourselves if those guys over there decide to come attack us.
yep.
We get to just chill and sit here and speak into a microphone for people to listen to. Like how crazy is that?
Yeah.
It's cool, bro. It's cool. We live in a time where there's a lot of evil things happening in the world.
But there's still a lot of good too.
There's a lot of good. And it's like and you have to be aware of all of it. That's the thing. You have to acknowledge how much evil there is in the world right now. Because if you don't acknowledge it, there's no hope of changing it. You have
Those
to
who
acknowledge that, but hold on to hope and hold on to really faith and confidence in the fact that you're a person and you have power and you can go out and you can accomplish crazy things if you really want to. So if you see evil in the world and you want to conquer that, that's a fight worth fighting. You just got to have the faith because a lot of people will get caught up in the evil things in the world and let it get them down. So they think, oh, like evil just wins. Like this is it. There's no hope for humanity. And people go into like a depressive mindset like that. But bro, like Just because there's a lot of evil in the world doesn't mean that the good can't rise up and win. The evil could also win if you don't take your stand and actually like try to do something about it. I don't know where I'm going with all this, but I'm just kind of rambling. But it's like
it's good.
It's facts. Like
People that forget history are doomed to repeat it.
Mm-hmm.
Like with this whole like censoring and like trying to take Joe Rogan off of Spotify.
How crazy is that, bro?
I don't like, dude. Why are they doing that? It doesn't make any sense. Why is Joe Rogan so dangerous to the?
Bro, it makes plenty of sense, Jake.
I know.
You know this as well as I do.
It's a rhetorical question.
It makes perfect sense. Okay, Joe Rogan is out here. He's independent. He signs to Spotify. He has all of this money. He's getting all of these viewers. Like the effect he has is immeasurable. Like people all over the world really listen to this one dude who sits there and he'll talk to whoever. Like he'll have people who believe this, people who believe that, people who do this.
Alex Jones.
That. Yes, everyone from Alex Jones to Bernie Sanders, and just sit down and talk to them. That's dangerous because all of these media sites, they have these narratives they're trying to push, and then here's Joe Rogan who's not pushing a narrative. He's actually just being a human being. And these people see all these viewers he's bringing in, and they're like, oh no. And then I don't think it's all just like jealousy and seeing him as a threat to their power. It's also that some of these people really think they're fighting some kind of moral fight because they see Joe Rogan as this guy who promotes misinformation and who lets crazy people influence the minds of generations. And it's like, I understand why those people think that, but you got to realize that sacrificing free speech is not the way to conquer misinformation. Right. If you see misinformation, fight that information with better information, with articulated information. Don't fight that with trying to take someone offline or trying to make up stories.
It's literally like the
all the time about him.
What I don't like is that Twitter removed Trump.
Right, like it's crazy. That didn't solve anything.
Like what happened to the First Amendment, freedom of speech?
And that's an interesting thing because it's like it's also if they're a private company and you believe in the rights of private companies, they should have the right to do it if they want to, right?
I don't think that any company should be able to remove the sitting United States president.
I don't know. I don't agree with that as a rule.
I mean, what if they took down Joe Biden?
I think they should have the right to do that as a private company, but also, like, if they're a private business. Like, I think a private business, I don't think the president should have any sort of special thing in a private business. Like, it's private. The thing is, social media is such a standard form of communication nowadays. As sad as that is, I don't think it should be, but it's a standard form of communication nowadays. So you could almost argue that it's a public utility now. So free speech should apply as opposed to the rights of private companies because it's really like a public forum.
Yeah.
You go online to post. So there's a very good argument to say, no, they shouldn't have been able to take him down. Mm-hmm. They shouldn't be able to take anyone down.
Yeah.
Because it's just, there's so much misinformation in terms of like, and there's everything. There's misinformation in terms of everything. And people are going to come out here and they're going to attack people like Joe Rogan for promoting freedom of thought and different ideas. Like, bro, if you attack the person who promotes freedom of ideas and who promotes entertaining many ideas, if you sacrifice that free speech, it's only a matter of time before that axe comes back around on your head.
Yep.
And you're the one who's getting censored. And then you're going to be sitting there looking real dumb like, wow, oh, I get it now.
Dude, I was getting censored on Instagram.
It's crazy, bro.
Yeah.
They took one of my YouTube videos down already.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
Stay woke, people.
Stay woke, bro. They really are out here just trying to take you down for talking about things that they don't like you talking about. That's all it is. It's not even, that's what I learned when they took my video down. It's not about what you actually say if you talk about something that they don't want you to talk about.
Yep.
They just whack you.
We're becoming China.
Oh. The influence is crazy.
Yep.
I mean, we can just see it. We can just see it blatantly in front of us.
Never surrender, become ungovernable. It's the only way.
Anarchy, yes or no?
To an extent.
Good answer.
Not like French Revolution anarchy.
French Revolution anarchy.
Yeah.
How bad did that get?
Anybody who was anybody got guillotined. The French Revolution was literally when the people rose up, beheaded all of the politicians, and then some dude became, because of the vacuum of power, and then like literally the neighbor could accuse the neighbor of being like a sympathizer and head chopped off.
Okay. See, that's not that. Anarchy, yes, that's crazy anarchy. That's like that doesn't. That's
See,
not,
that's the thing is like to me, that is what like democracy is. Like that. Okay, like that's an extreme example, but like literally that is the people making decisions,
right.
and like that's the nature of man.
Yeah, like I don't think true democracy can really work, bro. It almost seems like anarchy would be kind of nice because people get to just live, and it's like, bro, because when
But
you
we're
think,
humans. We need structure. What if there wasn't a government? Could you imagine life without a government?
I don't think it would be all that bad.
I think.
Okay, what it all depends on. What it all depends on. The whole thing is individuals. It all depends on the individuals.
Yes,
So
but
if you can
individuals are not
but
inherently
if you-
good.
But if I don't think that's right. I think if you can bring individuals up to think a certain way and to behave a certain way, you could have an anarchical society that functions.
Anarchical.
I think that's a way.
I
to
don't
say
think
it.
that's a word.
Anarchical. What?
I don't think
Anarchical
that's.
society.
I don't think that's.
How would you say that? Well, you know what I mean, though. An anarchy society
Okay.
that functions as long as you can make the people functional. What we see in the U.S. today is individuals in the U.S. today are not functional. So if we went into anarchy right now, we would be screwed because people think in such a twisted manner and their priorities are so off in so many areas. And this is like, that's a very general statement, but I think it applies to like a lot of people really just don't think about the world very rationally.
Yeah.
And as much as I hate to say that and sound cynical, I think it really is just true.
I feel like okay. Listen, bear with me. I think if we had anarchy for like a couple of years, people would just be like, okay, let's form a government again.
Certain people would. What I envision, I guess my utopian society is like it's anarchy, but all of the people respect each other and they respect themselves so they can just get along and they don't need a government to say what's right and wrong. People are just
Okay,
cool
Corey,
and they behave.
Corey.
That's how I imagine
Okay,
the world.
speed limits, yes or no?
No.
Okay, could you imagine a society where there's no speed limits?
If the people are just smart, it shouldn't be an issue. And if they want to go drive fast and get into a wreck, who's Joe
Okay,
Biden
but what
to
about
come down and tell
what
them they
about
can't?
traffic lights?
Traffic lights?
I can
I
get
think that's a
behind.
good
Yeah,
idea.
yeah.
Traffic lights, yeah, it's in a big city.
Don't even get me started about them trying to limit my speed limit on my automobile.
What did they do?
There's pushing for legislation that there's a thing that will like control the speed limit in your vehicle so you can't speed.
It's like, bro, I understand where they're coming from, but nah.
Yeah.
Can we not do that? Like, why do you
I feel
deserve
the
that much
need.
control?
The need for speed.
I'm trying to go fast,
Yeah.
bro. I'm trying to go down to like a road in the desert and just see how fast I can
Dude, I
go.
would love that.
It's so nice.
I'd love to be a race car driver. I think that'd be so much
Really?
fun.
Interesting.
Dude, you just get to go fast all the time and you get that rush and you know.
Actually, now
Okay.
that you mention it, it does sound
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of
Okay,
fun.
so you know how like when you're playing Call of Duty and you get the drop on people and you just butcher them and they like curse you out and you just laugh your ass off, like something like that, but in racing.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Bet, are you ready to call it?
yeah,
Appreciate you, dog.
of course.
Thank you for listening, everyone. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Catch y'all later.